Hey guys, so I wanted to come on here and share with you all an experience that I had yesterday with somebody who hired a developer who also does design. A lot of people, this happens to because the cost of design and development can get really high. So a lot of people think to themselves like, hey, if I get a developer who can also do the design, then that's great because the execution in this client's mind was really important. And what ended up happening, which I've definitely seen more than a couple dozen times, is that the developer designed something maybe like really simple and sort of like cookie cutter and wasn't paying attention to the details. Text was off, graphics were stretched, the list goes on, right? And so he had to kind of micromanage this developer and say, no, 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 I need it this way, I need it this way, I need it this way. And there were parts of the project where he was kind of saying, like, the design is bad, and I don't know why it's bad, right? Because I'm not a designer. So he spent all this time kind of learning how to be a designer and having to walk this developer through the process. And in the end, they just wasted a lot of time and money because he still didn't get the website that he was looking for. And so this is a common thing where a lot of development agencies will say that they also do design, and it's kind of a pitfall because if you don't know exactly the design you're looking for, a development agency isn't going to give you that type of consultation that a design agency does. Um, so it was really interesting to hear him talk about it because, like I said, it's not the first time, but you could tell that he was really frustrated and he really needed someone to say, oh yeah, the reason that this page doesn't work is because it doesn't have hierarchy, because maybe the title text isn't as big as it should be, and it's causing like visual confusion. So he like needed somebody to say that, right? And once I had said that to him, he was like, "Oh yeah, you're totally right." And he had some graphs and stuff where there were some little stars at the end of the graphs, and I was like, "What do the stars mean?" He was like, "Oh, it's just an aesthetic choice, I guess, that the developer made." And I was like, "Oh, well, if it's a graph and you have some stars, you want to make sure that everything on a graph is educating the user about like what the graph means. So like if you have two stars, maybe that means it's more important than one star, for example. But they all had the same amount of stars. So I was like, why? So I think a lot of times too, if you don't have a designer who's actually designing your website, you can run into a lot of those issues where like people sort of just throw design elements on things to make it look pretty. And a big part of definitely what we do and what designers do in general, professional good designers are going to make sure that not only does it look pretty, but everything on your design should be telling a story. It should have a function. It should be visually letting the user know something so that they don't have to read the text, or maybe supplementing the text. Like, oh, I understand this from this graph. Let me read the text to learn more, type of thing. So it was just like I guess not funny issue, but a common issue that I just wanted to talk about because a lot of people do try to cut costs by using a developer to design their sites or their digital assets. And it wasn't until after the project where he was like, and he did say, I didn't realize the value of design until going through this process. And now I really do understand like a lot of the things that designers put into this, and that I really do need someone to design this and make it look really professional. So it was just a quick story that I thought was really interesting. I think a lot of people have that issue, but I'd love to hear if any of you guys have run into issues with development agencies, or maybe undervaluing design until you get there and you're like, oh, wait, this isn't as easy as I actually thought it might be. So let me know in the comments, and looking forward to hearing.